Yes.
All right, okay, thanks for coming, everybody. We'll start with the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thanks again for coming, everybody, on such a nice night. We'll start with the approval of the agenda. Any additions or corrections from Jason, nothing, Dan?
Nothing.
No. Okay, entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Make that motion.
Thanks, Lonnie.
Second.
Thanks, Dwayne. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda. Everything is in your packet. Are there any questions for admin on that?
Move to approve.
Thanks,
I'll second that.
Stan, all in favor?
Wait,
Aye.
Oh,
there was one thing on the minutes, there was a blank for, who moved to adjourn the last meeting.
Oh. Yes, there was. Did you not catch it?
That's not a correct.
Got it from the...
for some reason, I just lost the consent agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay, I'll move to remove the minutes till the next meeting.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve with the amendment. Thanks.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You got that, Linda? We'll just move that.
Got it.
to consent.
Mhm.
All right, thank
Yep.
you. Visitors, none. No, I don't have any cards. Linda,
Nope.
Teresa, nothing?
Nope.
Okay. Public hearing, the EDA public hearing for business subsidy. That is in your packet. I will open the public hearing. If there's anyone here that would like to speak regarding the business subsidy policy? No. Mike? No. I'll close the public hearing. Any questions from council? Okay, I think it's pretty straightforward what it's trying to do there with the EDA, just clarification and making some changes after we had to return some of those revolving loan funds that didn't apply anymore, so it just cleans that language up.
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Dan. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to committee reports, planning and zoning. A is a rezone. We do have a legal opinion on the staff planning review, and a map that is in your packet.
And the city attorney did review both resolutions.
Any questions or comments on that from council? I'll just make the same comment I've made a couple other times. I just think I don't have a problem with it. It fits, we got the legal review and all that, but, we are setting a precedent on being open to rezoning within the city limits. So just keep that in mind for future rezone applications.
Yeah, and to that point, I was wondering whether we could, whether it would even necessary and open it up for discussion that we, add to the resolution that it exceeds our largest lot, residential lot in the community. You know, so it said, stating that it's greater than 2 or 2.5 acres, and so it sets a different precedent.
It's more of a basic, one by one, everything's a little, this one's more of a unique situation, I'd like to say, 'cause of
Well,
the size of it.
They're all unique.
Yeah, when we talk about splitting though, and that was one of the terms that was used, then the question of subdivision comes into the question, and when we're talking about subdivisions, usually plats, and we're talking about city lots. In this particular case, we're talking about acreages, and I think if we could somehow set a minimum limit with that and consider that we're looking at acreages rather than lots as the purpose of the rezone, whether that's, and I'm just throwing it out there for the discussion.
I mean, we aren't gonna set policy with the resolution though.
No,
So
no,
we
I
can
agree.
mention that in there, but anybody who applies for a rezone, it's gonna be a unique situation, whether it's acreages or
Yeah.
square foot or lot or, I mean, I see what you're saying, I
Yeah.
get it, I don't know if having it in the resolution would really help the next precedent, well, that's just in my mind anyway.
Okay.
Anybody else have?
I just agree with Dwayne, just mentioning the size is a factor, it's a big factor. I just think it would help us down the road when somebody else comes in asking for a similar application. I just think it would be a point well made.
Did planning and zoning discuss that at all, or?
We did, this is, you know, just after the fact, we've now 3 weeks since the planning and zoning, and, you know, I've heard, you know, your comments, and I've heard other comments similar in nature about splitting, the term splitting and whether we're getting into subdivision language, and I thought maybe just to better clarify it for lots, residential lots versus acreages, that we have some additional language to this, but I am okay with it as is too, if the rest of the council is okay with it.
Okay. Thoughts? Is it okay like it is, like to just get back and mention something about acreage?
It's one of those things where I wish Melanie was here, because I don't know that the inclusion of the term acreage is gonna legally make a difference down the road, in terms of setting precedent or clearing up any potential subdivision issues.
The only thing we could do is, you know, if we approve this, you could still go back to planning and zoning and take it back, the verbiage, and make it an ordinance. I don't know if you can.
I don't wanna delay this, but
No.
I
I
think the
agree.
fact that we bring it up in the discussion and it's now part of the official minutes, I think if necessary, we can come back to the minutes
And
now
look at it.
and look at it.
And that'll help,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's go with it.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the resolution, for the rezone, of the parcel, 4.25 acres, parcel at 1200 Main Street, West Casson.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Lonnie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We do have a conditional use permit that goes with that. It limits the number of horses and that. So any questions or comments on the CUP that goes with that rezone? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Dan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. On to old business, the Minnesota Energy Resources Agreement that is in your packet as well.
So they did, execute the agreement, which your city attorney did review, with the exception of this Exhibit A, because as I had stated at your last meeting, we do not know exactly where the installations are gonna be, so, they're just looking for approval of the agreement, and then we'll sign off on Exhibit A once we know where the locations will be.
Okay. Any questions for Teresa on that?
So it just comes back to council again, to the location, or is that just up to staff?
You know, I think we could work it out with them.
I agree,
That could work the
yeah.
location.
I agree, I just wanted to.
This is gonna benefit everybody.
Yeah.
This is more accurate meter reading,
Yeah.
easier, low cost of.
Nobody walking through your yard.
Yeah.
I agree, I just double check it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Dan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Dwayne. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm sorry, who made the second?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, on to engineers report.
All right, quick one tonight, Mayor and Council.
Quick update on 16th Street Northeast, that's the paving of 16th Street going east out of town to Dodge 15. Working through with Public Works and kind of where we're at on the design process. Ultimately, due to the shape of the road, the shape that the road is in this spring is basically impassable at times, and even when it rained here a couple weeks ago, it got pretty rough. Our plan of attack at this point is to still let a contract this fall, do the mass grading, cut down the hills, get the road shaped up, make some of the rock corrections this fall, let it sit over the winter, and then reevaluate it this winter when the spring, when the thaw comes out of the ground, see how it goes, make any final corrections before we pave it. That maybe we didn't really have a schedule set. We talked about maybe doing everything this year, or even we could even do it next year based on our funding. So, just giving you an update on that's kind of our plan of attack at this point, unless you object or have any other direction on that project. So we are moving forward on July 10th. We're having a homeowner meeting. We sent them all letters to notify the homeowners on our intent of the project, and there are some homeowners that we need some temporary grading easements as we flatten out the ditches and cut the hills down. We gotta do some work on private property, so we're working that through with the homeowners, so. Be looking for the plans for your approval here later on in the coming month or two for approval for, again, fall construction for the grading, shaping of the ditches, cutting some of the hills down, and paving next spring, so we can make sure we got a good base here before we spend a lot of money on the asphalt, so. Just wanna give you an update. There was some discussions between Teresa, didn't know and had comments, and Dan contacted me, said, where we at on 16th Street, so just wanted to provide you guys with an updated schedule, so that was it. Any more questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Anything else, Rebecca? That's it.
Anybody hear anything about when the Semcac building's gonna be done, or is that out of your league?
No,
Okay.
no, we didn't hear about that. And there's another homeowners meeting scheduled for the folks who will be impacted by the
East Main Street,
Main
yep.
Street project. So we have two.
Oh, yes, that was on an email that
Yeah.
somebody sent on that.
Yeah, so that, I don't know when exactly that's scheduled, but we are meeting with those homeowners. We met with them early on in the process. There's not a, huge impact, and I think they support the projects. They know there's gonna be some water that's picked up that kinda goes through their backyard. But we do have a meeting set up with them, the 20th, I believe it was. I'd have to look back at the date, but we do have a meeting just to touch base with our contractor and say, we're starting construction, we're gonna be working in your backyard. There's a fair amount of landscaping, flower gardens, whatnot, it's technically in the road right over, saying, we're gonna come through to get those out of here before we start construction this fall.
Perfect.
So you're gonna let all us know when the meeting for 16th and East Main Street is?
I wasn't planning on the council attending. I'm more than happy to let you guys know.
Just curious.
So the 16th Street homeowners meeting is Wednesday the 10th, so actually right before our council meeting at 5:15.
Where?
Here.
Right here, so basically just come before the council meeting, 5:15. And then I guess Linda potentially posts as a quorum if we're gonna be here.
We can do that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And-
Very easy.
People on these, I'm sorry, that was 16th Street,
Mhm.
is the 10th, did I say that okay?
Yeah. And in that meeting, we can let everybody know when the next one is, the next one.
Yeah, if I found it
Yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Tuesday, July 16th at 6 o'clock, we're gonna meet in East Park there. I figured it was close to the residence property, sort of the project out of Maston Creek, East Park, at the end of First Street Northeast, so. Again, it's Tuesday the 16th at 6 o'clock. If it's raining, we're gonna meet here at City Hall.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Any other questions? Good. All right, on the personnel, item number 1 is hire the electric supervisor position. Dwayne, you wanna give an update on that?
Yeah, we interviewed 2 candidates that are part of the bargaining unit. Lance, what's his last name? Diedrich, yeah, that's right. And, Jared, Nelson. And of the 2 candidates, the Personnel Committee is recommending that Jared Nelson be extended the, offer to be the electric supervisor. And, after some discussion, we're recommending that he be placed at the equivalent or near equivalent step, salary-wise as he is right now. through a 6-month probationary period. At the end of that 6-month probationary period, he'd be eligible for a step increase.
And with any internal candidate like this, they have 30
30
days
days.
within the contract that if they decide, if we decide or he decides within that 30 days, it's not working out, he can go back to his job.
His current
reinstated.
position.
After
Yeah.
30 days, then the position will be posted, so. Any questions? Okay, entertain a motion?
I'll move to, extend the offer to Jared Nelson.
I'll second that.
Thanks, Dan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, requested leave without pay. That's from the gentleman that we had just hired, and he has
Yeah,
rescheduled
Nathan,
vacation.
yes,
so.
yeah. I mean,
Wonder-
ideally, he would have asked us or negotiated in those vacation days.
Yeah.
He did not. This is an irregularity when it comes to a probationary employee, but I did discuss it with your, city attorney, and she feels that the city council does have the authority to, allow him to take the 2 days without pay.
Okay. Any questions on that? I don't
No.
think it's just common courtesy. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Thanks, Mel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Attorney's report, which we don't have the attorney here tonight, but that is the Marty escrow agreement, which is in your packet, I believe.
Yeah, that one.
And I've had communications with the bank and with Melanie. Everybody's kind of on the same page, and they agree that this is the best step forward, and everybody's happy with this, so. Mike's nodding his head.
Mike's nodding, that's good.
Are there any questions at all? This was just kind of the redo with the language clarified from the last time we were here.
Right.
So,
Yep.
and everybody's good?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Thanks, Dwayne. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Correspondence, there's a thank you in there from the school district for some stuff, and there's a update on the Smith. Any other questions or comments on correspondence? Hearing none, entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved. I'll
Thanks,
second
Dwayne.
it.
Seconded by Dan. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
16 minutes. Wow.
That's what he needs.
Well,
Well, fair enough. I agree.
we conducted the business and got it all done.
That's what I.